Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at 12917 Southwest 153rd Terrace here in Tigard, located at the front of the house. We are just off to the right of the front doorway. We line up pretty well at the front right corner of the house. Just beyond the patio we have a 3-inch ABS clean out. I'm going to check the overall condition, serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. We're going to zero out here at the base of the clean out. And at the end we will, once the line's drained out, we'll run backwards under the patio here, make sure that stuff looks good. We'll go all the way till we get through the foundation wall. Transitioning here over to 4-inch 3034 PVC. Thus far, nice looking sewer line. And quite a clean sewer line too. Very, very little buildup in the flow line. Getting into a little bit of standing water here, possibly a little bit more than a little. We'll see how this drains out at the end. The good thing is we're way out from the house here, and that right there is a connection to the main. And we tie right into the manhole that's out in the street here. So we'll take a second look at that belly there. Once you get bellies this far situated from the home, especially with this kind of configuration where there's plenty of hard drops where things are keeping their speed, bellies of this sort are highly, highly unlikely to ever cause a blockage unless the homeowner is just abusing the line to no end. So we'll take a second look though here in a second when the line drains out. We'll get a nicer view of things. Alright, so the line terminates out here on 153rd. There's a manhole that sits maybe 5 feet from the driveway edge out in the street, straight down the middle of the driveway. Or I guess if you drill a straight line down the middle of the driveway out in the road, that's where your manhole's at. So that's where the line connects to the main. So the pipe here is drained off now. You've got a very fine particulate that's in the belly there, which is to be expected. Some toilet paper is going to get hung up. The important thing here, there's essentially zero buildup to speak of, especially at the sidewalls or anything like that. And I really would not expect to see that level of debris buildup in a belly like this, unless the line is being heavily abused with grease, wipes, paper towels, things like that. So the belly here stretches from about 44 feet to 51 feet. This is hovering right around my breaking point where I start to consider repairs. Bellies like this that's sitting about right at the 1-inch mark. I generally only recommend repairs on stuff like this when it's very close proximity to the home, and also when it's, typically speaking, in older pipe materials. They're very rough texture on the inside, where the water slows things down immediately out of the gate, and then you've got rough pipe walls to snag onto stuff. At 50 feet almost, especially after all the vertical drops this line has, that's a belly there that requires the homeowner does quite a lot to ever get it to the point of blocking. The manhole itself, honestly, is more likely to cause a blockage than the belly is. Manhole convergencies like this, where you have multiple houses that tie into one manhole, you have a higher likelihood of the manhole itself leading to a flow problem than that belly ever will. And by that I mean, if you get a neighbor out here, manholes are kind of designed essentially to gather debris, especially improper stuff. It's an easy spot for a human being to get down into there and clean the line out. So if you get a neighbor that has a bad habit of putting paper towels down the line, wipes, things like that, they will often collect in the manhole. And I've seen scenarios where the neighbor blocks the manhole up. So that's what I'm getting at. And this manhole's clean. I'm not seeing a bunch of buildup. I'm just kind of making a comparison. The belly there is a very low likelihood of causing a blockage unless abused with wipes, paper towels, grease, and you'd have to be doing it on a fairly consistent basis. All the pipe there All appears to be intact. Plastic pipe can settle quite significantly as long as it's put together well without breaking or anything like that. So that belly is not significant enough, in my opinion, to warrant repairs, especially when you consider the configuration of the line beforehand and how far that is from the house. Even after 13 years of doing this, even when those bellies like that same belly is situated just 10 feet outside the house, in plastic pipe anyway, with nice smooth pipe walls, realistically, it still hugely comes down to the homeowner and how the line is treated. That is just the reality of bellies, and what I've come to find over the years is so much of it is on the homeowner. And then we just went backwards there under the patio and up to this right here is the vertical drop. This is where the line's diving down to get down to the foundation wall or under it to exit the house there. So everything beyond that point is all exposed piping. Although, bear with me just a moment here. Let me see if we've got vents. Yeah, we're on crawl space here. Front patio almost made it look like it could have been on slab foundation, which I will take it further back in there. Everything past that point is all on crawl space. The stuff the home inspector looks at. And to boot on top of that, a belly that I can't even recommend drain cleaning on. A few $100 of drain cleaning, digging a gigantic hole in the roadway does not make sense. Not for something like that. We have good flow end to end here. Very little buildup to speak of in the line. Certainly no evidence of any prior blockages, backups, anything of the sort. All the pipe we just scoped there, all of it appears to be intact and in good condition. The sewer line is functioning properly at this time. The big thing with standing water, and that's a belly there. Not that you should abuse your line. The occasional, as long as it's not a gigantic wad of paper towels, the occasional improper item going down through a belly like that is going to not have a terrible amount of time. Like I was saying, though, once it gets into the concrete manhole, because that rougher texture stuff tends to hang up there a little easier. So that's what I mean, is that the manhole honestly has more chance on its own of leading to debris buildup than even the belly does. So anyway, and I don't see, it looks like all your neighbors out here are doing what they're supposed to. I don't see any major buildup in the manhole. I'm not trying to freak you out over that configuration. It's just that's, as far as what's more likely to cause a problem, your neighbor in the manhole is versus that belly. That's my 2 cents on it.